Hello and what is up everyone, it is Hachi from the Art of Dota and I'm back with another video, and this is going to be actually a live cast from me here. I haven't done it in a while on the channel and I thought I might as well get back to it and cover some classic good old NA Dota here in the Dream League playoffs. This is a losers bracket game and it will be between DC and Optic Gaming. The loser gets eliminated, so this should be an interesting game. It is a best of 3, and they're playing for a chance of survival in this Dream League. Both of them did lose in their first round to DC did lose to EG, and Optic lost to Complexity. And as for my prediction here, I do think Optic should take this. I'm liking their lane setup right now. They got the Lich Doom dual off lane. Demon with the cheeky level 1 point and Enfeeble going to reduce Zai's damage here, but I don't see anyone dying here in this bottom lane. It's going to be a lot of harass traded back and forth. As for the mid lane, CCNC is actually not doing too well against Koifa here, as we're going to see some fighting in the top lane potentially. Boba intercepting the pull, making sure that Misery doesn't get the pull through. He actually gets pulled back into the creeps, but Boba, looking to play aggressive, comes forward with the stun. MSS is here with the thunderclap as well, and they're going to secure first blood here in the top lane. And again, mid lane is not looking good for Koifa here at all, or for a CCC I mean, against Koifa. Koifa doubling up at this point in terms of CS, and I'm assuming it was just 1v1 from the start. I didn't hop in right away, but it looks like Koifa is just getting the better of CCNC here. Now Boba coming in with a potential gank. He's again is on Slaughter again. Did play in the series against EG, as we're going to see a go here onto MSS in the top lane, but no follow-up lift there as it was already used, so he's going to be able to walk right out. Bottom lane, very static lane here, but again, I do think Optic should come ahead here. Gonna be able to deny all the range creeps, pull ahead. PPD does go for the 1-1-1 build. MSS on the Brewmaster, kind of one of the more popular offlaners right now, rising in pick rate along with Beastmaster. I do think Doom is gonna get there as well. I think he's a pretty strong hero, but MSS is relatively hard to kill at this point. And both these teams showing that they have some decent understanding of the meta, going for these dual off lanes. I do think that is ideal right now in this patch. You want a dual off lane because off lane is very strong, and if you let the enemy team just defensive try and zone out your off laner entirely, if they don't have fast jungling capabilities, you'll definitely fall behind come mid game. But as you see here, because of these dual off lanes, MSS as well as Zai getting a lot, and they're even harassing Mason back here. He's gonna pop his war cry, run back, but he does have a backpack salve, which will allow him to sustain in this lane. And now Demon not even bothering to play in the bottom lane anymore. I mean, he can go for pulls and try to get this lane back in track, but instead he's just gonna let Mason get as much experience as he can, and instead stack for him so he can come back later. In the top lane, we're going to see Demon TP. He's looking to make a quick rotation here, as he probably knows that Optic's wards have expired by this point, and he's right about that, as Misery has 2 wards on him, but he hasn't placed it yet. Demon will get spotted out now. The stun comes out onto MSS, but Bobo with the wraparound wants to catch that Pycat here. He's in trouble. He only has 10 wand charges. Will it be enough to keep him alive? He's not even going to bother. He'll just accept his demise as he goes down there. Very nice rotation there from Demon. And keep in mind, in the mid lane, Koifa still pulling very far ahead of CCNC. It looks like CCNC has made a little bit of a comeback, but if you look at the denies, doubling up on denies like this is huge, especially in the 7.07 patch where denies matter so much more now. However, Optic still doing very well in the bottom lane. Mason will just stack this small camp and farm it up here. Can't really go to lane anymore against soon to be level 5 Doom and soon to be level 5 Lich as well, and you see how much of an impact Lich is having in this lane in terms of the experience gain of Mason. Both the Lich as well as Doom here, Zai and PPD keeping up even in levels with Mason, who's been pretty much soloing this lane for a good 2 or 3 minutes now. In the top lane, we're going to see some more action as Bulba's looking to play aggressive. He'll eat a stun to the face. The toss brings him back as well, but he's continuing to chase with these illusions. Can't quite go under tower, so you're going to have to back off here. But Demon looking to put as much pressure as he can in this top lane. Doesn't actually have 1 point in Nightmare, so won't have the ability to set up a potential Crush or Thunderclap for MSS or Bulba. Now Bulba backing it off, looking to stack here. Can he get it off with this illusion? It's going to be a bit tricky. And nope. The creep is stubborn there. Decides to use its stomp or whatever was the ability. Attacking the courier. Oh my god. Alright, the courier is safe. Just rooted the courier for a second there. I think they still had the shield, so if someone was paying attention, the courier should have been fine, even if they got actually caught out there. But the top lane here, we're gonna see a level 6 Brewmaster, so maybe a kill attempt here soon. While in the bottom lane, Zai is also about to hit level 6, so Mason will have to be careful, but he's playing very safe in the bottom lane. And I think at this point, DC is making a decision to sacrifice Mason. He'll be able to come back later on. They want to put as much pressure on his Vengeful Spirit as possible, as Vengeful Spirit doesn't really have the ability to come back in the jungle as a Sven can. If she falls behind, she just kind of falls behind. Her only option there is to fight from that point onward, and Pycat will do just that. He wants to fight, rotating to the bottom lane. He has to be careful not to reveal himself, otherwise Mason will just back really far off. And again, they do have the Doom up now, and they're even going to rotate CC and C for this. Now, perfect play here for Mason was just to TP out or walk very deep in the jungle. But of course, he has no vision of this. This has to be just a pure prediction play. And now that Zai will walk past the ward, and Pycat showing himself in lane, Mason definitely knows something's up, and he'll TP to the top lane. In the meantime, DC was just doing some damage to the top tower. The catapult ended up dying, so they didn't actually get too much work here. And Bulba with the Invis rune looking to come in for a kill. Mason shows himself with the stun. Nice 2-man crush. The Steep also used on Zai. Make sure he doesn't interrupt that kill. Now they're chasing him down. He does get the Scorched Earth off. Boulder stun coming out from the Panda. They're going to try to take out Zai. His Scorched Earth did run out, and he will go down. He's actually going for a pretty greedy build here with the max Devour. And I don't know if it actually mattered there. I don't think he would have lived even with the max Scorched Earth. But maybe. It does increase the duration, right? Yep. The mid lane, Koifa committing his ultimate to try to push down the mid tower. But again, they're not doing that much damage. In the bottom lane, Pycat actually did a lot more damage down here than in the top lane. About the same at this point. But PPD is there to stop the push with his ice armor. And let's see, yeah, it is maxing ice armor, prioritizing it over Frostblast at this point. I do believe this is the correct build here, especially against Death Prophet and Slaughter. Very high physical damage, of course, not to mention the Sven. The bottom lane Demon might be in trouble here, as he's kind of stranded at this point without a TP. Tower bottom is taking some damage. Misery rotated in, put a ward behind the tower, or somewhere behind, not really behind the tower, but the trees, jungles here, I don't know what you would call this area, next to the small camp. But Demon also putting a similar ward right next to it. I wonder if they actually spotted each other's wards out or not. I actually don't think so, because Demon, one of them probably placed it from behind the trees, otherwise we'd be getting pinged out and stuff. But let's see, no sentries on anyone at this point, so even if they do know, they don't have any option to deward it. And speaking of dewarding, this ward is dewardable here. It's sitting right under a sentry. Bottom lane MSS will actually make the rotation, and this could be big. If they don't get kills here, this is a lot of wasted time, and he doesn't have his primal split. Ideally, he still wants to pressure top, but it looks like they're not going to get any out of this. Maybe Bulba might even die as he gets caught out here in the trees, but he's way too fast with his sprint. Down the top lane, Zai gonna push forward with the catapult, and Mason can't really meet with him. Instead, he'll just jungle here, popping the war cry. The mid lane, CC&C is somewhat evening out now, but it's as expected at this point. so late in the laning stage. He usually can just secure his CS with his Scream of Pain. In the bottom lane, nothing actually happened here. Actually, Optic still looking to pressure aggressively onto the tower, but MSS will show himself again. The sleep is used on Misery, comboed into the stun from Boba. Brewmaster ultimate committed. He's gonna look for another hero here with the Storm Panda. He finds PPD. PPD gets brought back onto the ground, tosses out the Chain Frost, but bounces. Luckily gets a kill there onto Boba, and now Zai is making the rotation in. He does have the Doom. He wants to use it here onto MSS, and MSS should die here. Not even going to commit to Doom right now. Just going to use his Infernal Blade and the stun, and it will be enough with CCC rotating in. And they'll save the Doom here, and they'll get the kill onto MSS and the tower. In the top lane, Mason looking to put some counter pressure in the top lane, but Misery as well as Pycat already making the rotation. They're going to be able to combo the lift into the stun. Minus armor does help out a little bit here against Mason with the Warcry, but Stolen Stun comes out. They still barely don't have enough damage to kill him. He gets away on a sliver of HP, and Pycat rotates in. Will secure the counter kill there, or the counter gank. It wasn't even a counter kill, as they didn't actually kill Mason there. And now Pycat in a lot of trouble, as well as Demon and Boba are here as well, and they will secure another kill. DC with the good counter play from the bottom lane. CCNC pushing in through into the tier 2. MSS will be here to stop him. Has that ultimate again in about 60 seconds. PPD placing a very aggressive ward behind the tower. This shows that Optic probably wants to play down in this bottom lane area. They've already secured control of DC's jungle by taking this bottom tier 1. But it looks like DC gonna do the same here in the top lane, as they're gonna work towards trading for this tier 1. A little bit late though, and again it all came down to that catapult not actually doing that much damage to the tower, as Rubik did manage to just pull the creep wave back and defend previously, but tower will finally fall now. And let's check Blink Dagger statuses on Boba, and he'll have his Blink Dagger soon, about 700 gold. Misery moving forward very aggressively here. They could potentially kill him. Demon does have the Fiend's Grip, and oh no, the Stolen Sprint. Will it be enough to get him away? Nice lift here as well from Misery, creating so much space. Both supports from DC chasing, but Corfa is here with the cutoff. Uses Misery in the air. Now comes the Fiend's Grip, and he will go down. But again, it's a lot of space created. 3 heroes in the top lane. The creep wave isn't even there, so they're able to cut the creep wave here, but they're not even able to do any damage to the tier 2. Blink Dagger status on MSS. He's going to have his in about 50 gold. Oh, Zai already has his, as well as the drums. He's super farm. Let's just open the net worth right now. I don't want to forget about that. And Zai actually the top net worth for Optic. Again, he did pretty much free farm his lane with the Lich helping him out. And now the rest of Optic Gaming, I want to call them OG, so I see their logo here, but I'm just going to call them Optic because we already have an OG in Dota. It would be quite confusing, right? And here is Zai pushing in through the bottom lane. Securing the tower, Pycat actually getting a kill there, and this greedy build definitely helping him out. The Max Devour, not very common on Dooms in the old patches, but now 7.07 Doom with the support Lich in the off lane, playing like the carry Doom, as he's top net worth on his team right now, above CCNC and Pycat. And again, we talked about before where Pycat on a Vengeful Spirit, you're not going to be able to flash farm that quickly. With the Mask Madness, he's going to solve that problem a little bit, but still, it's not the fastest farm in the world. Nothing like a Sven. And speaking of Sven, Mason is God Strength up, and DC are taking Roshan. Snuck that right under Optic Gaming's nose. They're looking to make a smoke play into the mid lane, but DC were busy in the Rosh pit, and they got right to work there with the Slaughdar. Finish it off, did commit the Death Prophet Exorcism there though. So I do think that this mid tower should fall. They don't really have an option to defend this. They don't have the God Strength either. One thing that they do have though is the Panda split, as well as a Blink Dagger on Panda, but I still don't think it's enough. And again, Zai still has his Doom available. I believe he hasn't used it once this game yet. Just saving it for the right moment. The thing is, it does have a very long cooldown, so you don't want to just toss out that Doom willy-nilly and not have it for a important fight. But now they might be more keen to using it, because it's not like DC's gonna get Rosh or anything with the Doom on cooldown, as they already have taken it. but getting an Aegis against a Doom is very strong, as of course he's not going to be able to Doom that hero with the Aegis, otherwise it's pretty much a waste. And Zai actually just going to get caught out there. Nice initiation from Slardar, and the Chain Frost does bounce and secure the kill into Boba once again. And Optic actually looking to continue to take this fight. They're not going to be able to catch anyone, so they will back off now, as CCNC is splitting in the bottom lane, playing around this board here. Did secure his team that tier 2, and he also has his Orchid completed. In the top lane, DC still looking to play aggressively here onto the tier 2, but the ice armor going to make it very difficult. It will be maxed out ice armor at this point, so PPD setting his priorities straight, maxing out the ice armor against the Slardar, as well as Sven and DP. Very high physical damage heroes on the side of DC, and this ice armor will pay off. Very good here for Optic, and probably one of the reasons they actually decided to pick Lich here in this game. I do think that Lich is not really viable as a first pick every game anymore, but I do think in a game like this, it's a very solid pick. Zai and PPD making a rotation into DC's jungle. Again, they want to play around this board here, but Koifa smells something coming, but he's actually going to move forward now. This might be the opportunity. They do have the Blink Dagger onto Zai, keep that in mind, but MSS is here first, gets the initiation, the silence comes out onto Zai. He's not going to be able to cast his Doom, and he will go down here, and DC with a good play. Koifa realizing his team was on their way. Now they're going to get PPD as well. The stun from Boba into the nuke, and Koifa will secure himself a double kill. During this time, Mason has been able to catch up. He has the Aegis on him, and again, this is not really a take fights Aegis. This is more so secure our map control and get some farm here on the Sven. Again, his flash farming capabilities very strong here on the Sven, and they will look for kills though, as 2 members of Optic are dead, so they're going to feel comfortable going aggressive. Zai will respawn now. They're going to commit the God Strength, and Pycat falls, summoning that illusion, but another hero dead for Optic. And again, the gold graph is very even actually. It's only 1k considering Roshan and all these kills that DC actually have, but now they're starting to go in one by one. We're going to lose CCNC there as well, as he links forward pretty aggressively there. I feel like he should just be back split pushing again. I don't think they had any ability to take that fight at all, even without the split. There's still the Aegis onto the Sven, and then with his God Strength as well. Now Mason still holding on to that Aegis. We'll farm it out, going for the Sanjin Yasha build. Again, this is probably the max farm build on the Sven. I just feel like Sven farms faster with the Sanjin Yasha compared to things like Echo Saber, just because of the extra move speed that he gets. It's pretty nice as well. It does have a mana regen talent, and this is something that I believe was changed in the 7.07 patch, where I don't know what Sven's old level 10 talents were, but the mana regen is much appreciated, as he doesn't really have to go for a magic wand or anything like that. He can just sustain his mana and always be able to, you know, cast his ultimate and his stun. Now let's check out MS's itemization. Alright, nothing crazy here, just going for the Vlads, and nothing like a Midas actually. Speaking of Midas, Boba will be going for one, so Midas on him. Demon, it's level 10, does go for the cast range over the 6 armor actually, so favoring being able to cast his Fiend's Grip and Nightmare at a bit of longer range. Does help out a lot, but 6 armor was probably the preferred talent on Bane before his talent changes. Again, he did get a little bit of a change in 7.07B as well, where he used to have Enfeeble, steals damage to level 10, so this is making core Bane a little bit less viable. I guess Ice Frog or Valve, whoever, I'm assuming it's Ice Frog, right? But they thought it was a little bit silly here. Anyway, again, DC are ahead 13-3, but if you look at the net worth, it's not by that much in terms of net worth. It's only 2k there, actually dropping back down to 1k now, as look at these Doom Illusions starting to get work on the mid tier 2 along with the Catapult, and they're even going to fort for the top lane. And the thing about the new Fortify is if you're pushing as well as getting split pushed, it's actually going to allow you to push a little bit faster because it keeps the creep wave alive for longer. And can you not call? Alright. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna go offline mode. That doesn't happen again. What the heck? Alright, we're good. We're good. Alright, the game has slowed down quite a bit now. Not a very action-packed game. Some kills here back and forth, mostly on the side of DC, as they have the more aggressive draft here with the Slaughter. Again, Optic don't really have an option to just go for a casual kill the way that DC can, because Doom is on quite a long cooldown and there's no blink yet on either the Rubik. I guess he actually is the only one who's going to set up the kill. I was about to say Venge, but that's not really, doesn't make sense. Because again, she's the other way they're going to start a fight, but it's kind of hard for her to go in like that. She's still very squishy, and if she gets caught out, she's definitely going to die. So the reason why Optic haven't had more kills is just they don't really have the option to go for kills. They just have to really wait for DC to come to them and play reactive. And they are getting a lot of farm out of the map though, so actually comparing with Sven, they're not doing too bad. CCNC definitely has made quite a comeback through split pushing and efficient farming, and he will be third on the net worth charts. This ward from DC spotting out everything. They know exactly what Optic Gaming are up to. They have very good warding across the map here, covering all through Optic's jungles. So they'll definitely know if something's up, if Optic's making them make a move. Mason's Aegis did expire, and he will be going for a Blink Dagger, I believe. Yep, it's heading right to him on the Courier. And Pycat actually rushing a BKB after this Mask of Madness, so shows that he's actually looking to fight here. This tier 1 bottom is still alive in the top lane though. There's initiation here onto CCNC, but nice stolen crush from Misery, saving CCNC, and he will be able to blink away. Koifa going for the Octarine core and is about to have it, about 1,000 gold. This is buying time for Pycat. He's going to be able to push in through this bottom lane quite far, as they know that DC is situated here in their top jungle. I'd like to see Optic get a gem and deward all of these wards in their jungle, because if they can do that, they're definitely going to be able to limit DC's control of the map. Again, DC have the far more aggressive lineup at this point, with having two blink initiators on Boba as well as MSS, and even Mason at this point, you can consider him. So we have to be very careful where they're walking here on the map, as any point initiation can come out of nowhere and they will just melt if the wrong heroes get caught. Ice armor of course will help them out a lot, as both teams smoking up here actually. Or no, DC's not actually smoke, they're just gathering together. They might know something's up though. Optic Gaming haven't showed on the map for a while, and yeah, they're taking position. Circle comes out from Demon, so they're saying hold this ground here, we should be safe, and Optic realizes that as well. They don't want to go onto that high ground, so they're gonna back off here on their smoke. Failed smoke, but they didn't really lose anything out of it. Again, I like to see them get a gem, or I don't think it's viable for them just to spam sentries at this point, but here comes the initiation, and this is where the gem would pay off, as they would know that they're standing right on top of a ward, and there's the initiation there onto Pyka. He doesn't get his BKB off, and they follow up, get the kill there onto Zaya as well. Since he is busy split pushing the mid lane, Boba wants to find him out, but he's going to be able to blink away and TP back home. But this is second Roshan here for DC. It's going to go down very quickly here with the minus armor from the Corrosive Haze. Got the Vlads here as well, and this is going to be second Roshan again going to DC. Now they got the Aegis and Cheese. It was a DD rune here onto Mason as well. Thing is, I don't know who buys gem on Optic though. I guess it would be PPD, but he really wants his Force Staff, and Misery wants his blink. Actually, he'll have his blink now, and he'll use it to escape Boba. Oh, the stun almost connecting, but Misery will barely manage to get away there. PPD in the bottom lane. He's gonna throw Chain Frost here. This looks like a juicy Chain Frost. Go for it, dude. Doesn't really do much in a fight. Go. Or actually, CCNC is here. He doesn't need to. CCNC will clear out the wave. If he was alone, I'm pretty sure he would have chain frosted there. But because they had Quap, it's pretty much a waste. As he's going to steal his farm for his BKB as well as waste his ultimate there. And he's almost going to have that BKB actually. We'll have it pretty much after about 1 or 2 more creeps. And Optic Gaming not backing away. They're looking to hold control of this bottom lane. Again, they still have the tier 1 tower down here alive. And even against the Aegis and Cheese, they're not going to give up too much ground. They want to push the wave out as far as possible before DC gather up in the bottom lane to make this push. Because they know that this is where DC want to go next. And Optic haven't made the back play yet either. They're still looking to stay around, maybe looking for a potential pickoff or a surprising DC. I definitely don't think DC is going to expect this one coming. Top lane still pushed in as well as mid lane, so they definitely should suspect something, as at this point they normally expect Optic to show either in the top or middle lane. So Mason gonna lead. He does have the Aegis, so even if he gets gone on, should be just fine. The rest of DC playing out of vision, not giving Optic to get a good initiation off. Boba shows himself here. And Optic actually just looking to hold this bottom tier 1. Ice Armor dropped on the tower. All 5 heroes in position. CCNC in the trees with the BKB ready. No buyback onto him though. So things could be disastrous if they actually lose this fight. But they're feeling confident? I don't know. Ice Armor popped on the tower again, and they're actually just going to back away. They realize that DC is not going to go in when all of them are missing off the map like this. So they're going to just go back and farm their jungle a little bit. Mason, of course, still does have that Aegis. He has a BKB online soon, about 200 gold. Koifa, with the Arcane Rune, actually will commit the Exorcism. Again, he does have the cheese, so very hard to burst him down. Even without the cheese, actually, but especially with the cheese, I don't think they can kill Koifa. And with the Exorcism committed like this, they're going to just Warcry to armor up on the creeps, and this tower should fall. Going to take them a while, though. PPD not going to be able to walk back up and pop another Ice Armor on there, however. So, they're just going to have to let this tier 1 go. And Zai, though, does TP back. They're looking to continue to contest. Is that... Alright, I thought it was stolen Exorcism for a second there, as it was Ghost flying around Rubik, but well, he did just get Warcry. And with the Exorcism ending, DC will just back off for now, playing very patiently with his second Aegis and Cheese. They know that they're not actually that far ahead, and one bad fight can really go a long way for Optic, so they're going to wait for the BKB there. On to Sven, and Mason has it ready. And here comes the 5-man smoke from Optic Gaming with this 5-man train. Misery actually not getting hit by the smoke. It's going to be kind of obvious, and they're just going to go for the counterplay here, pushing into the mid lane. They know that this tier 2 is already down mid, and they're looking just to counter push. The scan comes out as Mason, he's looking for a kill somewhere, but no one from Optic is showing, as they're going to show mid. They're going to force the TPs back. Boba as well as Demon already back. Koifa committing the second Exorcism to try to take out this tier 2. Mason hiding the trees along with MSS. They're looking to counter initiate onto anybody who goes onto Koifa. Boba almost getting himself caught out there by the Rubik lift, but he gets away just in time. Way too speedy there with the sprint. And everyone will actually just back off. No one dies. So again, both these teams know that they're just this one series away from getting eliminated from this tournament. Not very many risky plays made in this game at all. Pretty calculated games by both these teams, but again, who does come ahead here if this game goes late? 40-50 minutes in, the Aegis expires onto Mason, and I think it might be Optic. If this goes super late, the Doom, do not underestimate him in the late game. First off, he gets a lot more farm than the Panda can ever dream of. And you already see Zai is no longer top net worth on his team, as he wasn't prioritized farm anymore. But You can see he's definitely far ahead of MSS at this point, especially because MSS didn't go for anything like a Midas. But Gem actually picked up first by DC, and I like to see Gem come out soon for Optic, but again, they don't really have anyone to buy it. Misery wants another item here, and PPD just wants to get towards his 4-staff first. And speaking of PPD, he goes for the 120 damage talent. I think that's actually the better talent in the long run in case the game does go late, because the Frost Blast cooldown just doesn't feel impactful in the late game. You're not going to be able to cast that often. It feels better in like a game where you're far ahead and you just want to, you know, buy a Veil or Kaya or something like that and just spam Frost Blast. But in an even game like this, the 120 damage feels like, I mean, it doesn't feel like it does anything, but it feels like later on it might do something. And he's hitting pretty hard now because of it, though. Probably harder than anyone else on his team, actually. Yep. The hardest hitting hero is actually PPD. What a talent. Anyway, in the bottom lane, CC and C continuing his split pushing shenanigans. Again, he's getting a lot of farm off of this, keeping almost even in net worth with both Koifa as well as Mason. The thing about playing like this is, sure, you'll get farm on one of your cores, but again, notice that Zai has been falling behind a little bit because he just hasn't had the space on the map to farm. Again, CCNC is eating up most of this farm. The supports on Optic are quite poor as well. Both of them only having really one core item, with PPE not having any core items yet, just having a casual Staff of Wizardry at this point. Exorcism is committed in this top lane, and Mason goes right in. Attempts for the stun there into CCNC, but he gets his BKB off. They actually both pop their BKB at the same time. Now the Doom's used onto Koifa. They will burst him down. Unable to pop the cheese. The Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. And what a Chain Frost that is. Boba goes down. Mason will go down here as well. Sleep save from Demon will keep him alive for a little bit longer. And it allows him to stay alive long enough to actually secure the kill there onto Zai. Spin up onto air. And looks like MSS should be able to get away. And he will. They lost both Pycat there as well as Zai and the tier 3, but they did take out 2 cores on the side of DC. Successful defense, I would consider that for Optic. And they still had the cheese there onto the Death Prophet, but because she was doomed, she couldn't quite get it off. Sick Chain Frost there from PPD, and that will allow him to get his 4-staff now, I believe. Yep. And additional 900 gold. You know, you want to buy that gem. Did they actually lose the gem though? Where'd the gem go? Oh no, Panda had it and he got out, so gem still safe and sound in DC's hands. And Boba, Speedy Fish, picks up the rune, picked himself a Shadow Blade as well. MSS actually just going for the BKB. Very safe build here from MSS. Nothing fancy. We're not going to see any Aeon Disc. Not even a Midas. So just going for the solid build here on the Brewmaster. The thing is, what DC can do with the Refresher Shard is if they can get the next Aegis, they can either give it onto MSS, of course, or the Death Prophet, and they can just refresh ultimates and push high ground. They can even give it to Sven to refresh God Strength. But in the meantime, though, this tier 3 bottom actually died. I'm assuming that was CCNC's doing. He was split pushing the bottom lane. Showed up just in time to fight, of course, as well. But he did trade a tier 3 for tier 3, so he did a lot of damage onto the range racks as well compared to the top lane. Not much damage was done onto the racks at all. So that defense favoring Optic a lot more than I even saw. I didn't catch that split pushing play there from CCNC in the bottom lane. And they already secured themselves as bottom shrine here as well. And just with superior split pushing coming out from DC, even though from Optic, I mean, even though DC had the advantage pretty much all game, especially in kills, the net worth graphs completely evened out at this point. And Optic not looking to play for kills at all. They purely just tried to split push with this Queen of Pain, and it has worked out. They actually had a strong control over this bottom lane, and that's one of the reasons why CCNC was able to come back the way he did. And now with the Arcane Rune bottled up, building towards a Shiva's guard. Definitely pretty happy about how he's turned around the game after a pretty rough laning stage there against Koifa. Well, Mason does have his BKB, used it there in the top fight, didn't get much out of it, but he's gonna pop his ultimate here, pop into Roshan, and they're gonna commit their exorcism here as well. And look at that, that's Refresher Shard, that's Aegis, and that's Cheese. So will Optic be able to defend against this next push coming out from DC? They have the potential of 2 ultimates coming out from either the Panda, the Death Prophet, or the Sven. It is a lot to deal with. Again, I don't think it would be bad on any of these heroes. I mean, that's 2 God Strengths, 2 BKBs for the Sven. That's quite scary, along with the Aegis as well. But again, the split pushing plays coming out from Optic. Double catapult will be hitting on the racks, but nice 2-man stun from Mason. Here the BKB will be popped from both CCNC as well as Pycat. Mason is having trouble killing anyone. The Force Staffs as well as the Blinks. He will finally be able to kill Misery, but in the backline, they're going deep here for Koifa. He's doomed up, but they don't manage to burst him down. CCNC blinks away before Bulba gets the stun. Mason is down already, and he'll come back without his God Strength unless someone passes him that Refresh Shard, but he blinks forward, gets this kill there onto CCNC. He's going to pull forward there, killing on to PPD as well. That's 3 dead already on the side of Optic, and Boba is looking for more. Zai does TP away. Alright, so they lose 3. They get the Aegis. They did commit the Doom there. Death Prophet might have died there as well. That might have been a big death, unless she just bought out. I think she just bought out, so even though she did die there, she would have had buyback, but she realized that with 3 dead, she's going to buy out. It's very hard to kill her now without the Doom, so she still has a cheese available. 2 cheeses available, actually. She never used that last cheese, of course, as she died top to the Doom. You know, they're going to commit God Strength, hit the racks here. Thing is, with the Refresher Shard, they actually don't feel that bad. Wait, someone... Where'd the Refresher Shard go? Someone used it, alright. We see a fight break out here as the buybacks come out. CCNC does buy back. He's coming in with the BKB, focusing onto Pycat, or for Koifa, I mean, but he gets the cheese off. Pycat was in the back line there, popped his BKB, had to play very safe there, and Koifa will back away with the rest of his team. They did take out the Ranger Axe with the Ice Armor, providing too much for them to try to get the melee here, as well as the buybacks did get forced out. So that's going to affect CCNC's timing here. He was on his way to the Shiva's guard, but now he's quite far away now. And this will result in DC with about 8k net worth advantage to this point. Mason feeling very strong at this point. We'll have his Daedalus soon. And what is his Misery? His cheeky bottom play is pushing in. And this will probably force someone from DC back eventually, as CCNC is making his way down here as well. And they just want to force DC back in the base. They just want to buy time at this point. With the buyback on cooldown for 6 minutes, 50 seconds for CCNC. And is he the only buyback they use? I believe they use 2, right? Let's check buyback status. Yeah, PPD had to use his buyback there as well. So they don't really want to play aggressively, but they're going to get jumped as DC comes in with a crush. Fiend's Grip used onto Zai. He's not going to be able to get his Doom off. The BKB won't do anything. PPD dies a second time. That's a dieback. The bounces will not actually kill Boba this time. He's gotten really unlucky with that in this game, and finally he lucks out. Chain Frost doesn't bounce him, and he'll finally survive. And that's 3 kills for DC. This is potentially really bad for Optic. They don't have PPD for 50. Zai does have buyback, but if he gets his buyback force here as well, DC can just take 1 winning fight and win the game. They did commit the exorcism there, as it will expire now. And again, I don't know who used the Refresher Shard there. And probably Mason, I think, to get his ultimate up again. Again, he did ultimate here, had a fresh BKB. I don't think... Oh, I might have been Koifa. I actually don't know. I know it definitely wasn't Panda, because he didn't have his ultimate here when they were pushing racks. Otherwise, I think the racks might have died, because he would have just ulted and killed it. Anyway, They will finally secure this tier 2 bottom, so no outer towers anymore for Optic. They are purely stuck in their base now. Of course, losing that tier 3 and the range racks top. Range racks bottom did take a lot of damage, so this game is pretty much even, I would say, in terms of racks. However, DC does have a little bit of an advantage now because of the buybacks coming out from Optic. And that's going to be the lead that they have as for now, but if this game gets stalled out for longer, it's going to even out once again. Once the buybacks come up again for Optic, I think we'll be able to just farm up a little bit more as well. But now, because they have to play very scared, DC will be able to get a little bit more out of the map, just be able to farm a lot more aggressively, as they know that it's pretty unlikely that OG is going to go for an aggressive play, and I just called them OG there. Again, this logo messing me up, man. So Misery does have his Agnums, or what Agnums abilities can he steal? He can steal Agnum's God Strength, give his team damage. Agnum's Brain Sap, that would be pretty dope. I guess the biggest thing here is just lowering the cooldown and potentially getting that Panda split. And he hasn't gone it once this game. MSS making sure. Oh no. Zai getting initiated on the spot brings him away. Pycat does just get focused down though. The Fiend's Grip comes out. He has buyback. The rack is already gone though. They're not even going to bother to buy back quite yet. They're waiting out this Exorcism as well as the Bruise Split, I'm assuming. But they're heading straight into the middle lane. Here comes the buyback. CCNC blinks forward with the BKB, but he just gets enfeebled up, not doing much damage here at all. Koifo would just back away with the rest of his team here. The buyback was forced. They got the racks. They got what they came for, and now they'll just get away. And the God Strength did allow them to secure the racks here quite quickly, and there was nothing that Optic could do. And Mason is fat, man, sitting on 7,000 gold. Optic might look to make a counterplay here, as they know that they have to do something, but their top lane is taking a lot of damage here. It's 2 catapults hitting onto the tier 4. Zai comes back in, does manage to kill off the catapults before they do too much damage here to the tier 4 again. Tier 4s are unhealable, or they don't heal anymore. This game, they're not unhealable, because if PPD gets to level 25, you can definitely heal the buildings. So Optic's playing for the long game. They have that there for them. But losing this tier 3 meta as well. Now, at any point, DC one pick off, anything, and the game feels over. But Optic still looking to move aggressively here in the bottom lane, and whoa, Misery just getting deleted there. Couldn't even catch him on my screen in time. And PPD in a bad position. Jukes himself into the trees. Has his TP available. It was in his backpack, but it gets it out just in time. CCNC will also TP away here. Again, I just don't feel like Optic have use for this Doom anymore. These heroes from DC just feel too tanky, and is he going to Doom and burst? Even if he dooms Mason, I feel like he can just man up, and at this point, a lot of heroes on DC even have buyback boots of travel. And alright, speaking about that, Koifo just doesn't care. He just buys a heart. He's like, I'm not going to die. Doom me for what? He also went for the 500 health talent there at level 20. That's actually insane. What is this hero? Alright, that's pretty sick there. And they're going to commit the Exorcism. Lincoln Sphere gets popped, but Lotus Orb gets popped on to him as well. So they don't really want to cast spells on them. And this tower, even though it's ice armored up, is taking a ton of damage here from these ghosts. And Koifa looking a little bit cautious here. As, again, I do think it's going to be very hard to burst them. But if they throw everything, they might be able to. And she's just going to back away. Not even wanting to secure the tier 3. Mason is super fat. Again, he does have the buyback boots of travel. It's completely 6 slot at this point. Already actually has the boots of travel on him, as well as a moon shard. Boba getting pretty good farm in this game here as well. The buybacks coming up soon again for Optic. 30 seconds for both PPD as well as CCNC, and about 5 minutes still for Pycat. So their buybacks are actually staggered, which is not good. It means that they actually can't take a fight outside the base, because again, if Pycat dies, he's not coming back, and they're gonna have to give another Roshan away to DC, and that's another Aegis Cheese and a Refresher Shard. And they're gonna give the Refresher Shard to MSS, finds himself a nice regen rune here as well, and this actually just straight up gives DC a win condition. They don't even have to take this fight. They don't have to go for kills if they don't need to. They literally can walk high ground, pop the Exorcism. If they know this Arcane Rune here is bottom, they would love to pick that up onto Koifa, but unfortunately they don't have Vision of the Ward. And alright, Optic realize they have to go. If they let DC get to their base, there's no way they're going to be able to take that fight. The Brew Panda's just going to take their racks. The Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. They did burst Demon before the fight. The Doom was used onto Mason, but again, he doesn't feel like he cares. And we're going to trade 1-for-1 now as Misery goes down. The Refresher Shard coming out onto Mason. Someone passed it to him, and it was the Panda, of course, I believe. And he's able to refresh his BKB and his ultimate. So he did use his ultimate there, but he has another one up and available. And there's a stun onto CC&C. The Force Staff actually pushes them back. Whose Force Staff is that? It's PPD's. And Koifa's Exorcism will expire, but DC claim another melee racks. And again, back to what I was talking about before, they literally don't have to go for kills. They literally can go high ground, pop the Exorcism, even pop the Pandas, but throw someone up in the air, use the Panda to hit the racks, do some damage with the Sven's God Strength, as well as you see what's able to be done there with the Refresher Shard. And now Mason's on his way to having buyback Refresher Boots of Travel, which is insane. Buyback Refresher Boots of Travel is definitely game winning, and the game is over. Oh no, I actually rewinded a little bit in the replay, and with the way replays work, if you rewind and the replay's over for long enough, it just kicks you out of the game. So anticlimactic ending. Alright, we gotta go back and watch it, right? We gotta go back and watch it, or we actually just can't. The game's not up. Alright, I'm sorry about that, guys. Again, it wasn't completely live. I tried recording before, and I had to change some settings, so we didn't actually catch the end of the game. But again, we saw what was gonna happen. It was just DC able to just go high ground with a potential buyback, Refresher, Boots of Travel, Sven. It's pretty unlikely for Optic to be able to pull that back. Again, they had a very solid laning stage, but they're just lacking any type of kill potential in the mid game, which really hurt them. And also, no control near the Rosh pit area, which allowed DC to get Rosh after Rosh after Rosh. And there's only so many Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shards that you can fight against before you lose the game, especially against a team that synergizes so well with Refresher Shards, having 3 heroes that can potentially get the Refresher Shard and make use out of it. So that's going to be it for DC versus Optic. I'm sorry you guys don't get to see the end of the game, but we all know what was coming. And it was a bit of a slow game in general. And again, it's a live cast, so I can't really pick and choose what type of game I get. But I'll see you all in the next video. And again, if you like the cast, make sure you leave a like down below. Again, I'm so sorry about not being able to see the end of it. But see you all in the next one. And also subscribe if you want to see more. I don't do casts all the time, but I try to throw somewhat here and there, you know, keep things fresh, and I always want to get better at my casting. So see you all, and peace out.